Good evening and welcome to my next review. And it's going to be on this movie, Lincoln, with the great Daniel Day-Lewis, directed by Steven Spielberg. Let me turn the camera around. As usual. Alright. Right off the bat, the first thing I'll say about this movie is it's very political. Like, the first time I saw this, a lot of it went over my head. You know, I'm not a very political person. I don't know much about politics at all or how the system works. So seeing this the first time, a lot of it went over my head because, you know, a lot of it takes place, you know, in office and in the White House, and also there's a lot of debates. And the movie is about Lincoln trying to pass the Fifth Amendment to end slavery in America. And Daniel Day-Lewis playing Lincoln in this, absolutely phenomenal. He gives a very down-to-earth performance in this, but also very powerful as well. You know, it's he's not playing it up. It's not grandiose. It's not overdone in any way. When you're watching it, when I was watching it, I just felt like I was seeing Lincoln right up there on the big screen. I forgot it was Daniel Day-Lewis. He completely disappeared into the role, as he does into most roles, but he really disappeared into this. Like, if you compare the real Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis, you put them side by side, when he's all done up in the makeup and everything, he looks just like Lincoln. So he was the perfect choice to play him, and he just nailed it. Just a, you know, astounding performance. Lincoln was very soft-spoken. He didn't have a very powerful voice. He was very funny. He liked to tell stories a lot. His intelligence was like off the charts. He was smarter than, you know, in the movie it's shown that he's kind of smarter than all the people in his whole cabinet. You know, he's always thinking ahead and looking to the next step. And it's just a great movie. It's filmed in a very artistic way. There's lots of light and shadow. You know, it's not done like a big Hollywood epic. It's very, you know, more subdued. It's done, you know, very much in the style of an independent film. The whole supporting cast in this is excellent. All the people playing the members of his cabinet. In particular, you know, Tommy Lee Jones really stands out in this. And he plays Mr. Stevens, who's a politician. And he's so great in the movie. Like, it's one of the best performances I've ever seen from him. He's got like what I would describe as an acid tongue, especially when they're debating, you know, and debating the vote. He's very outspoken, very, you know, opinionated. Gives just a really strong performance in this, and some of the best insults that I've ever heard in any movie, when he's tearing down some of the other politicians who are quite blatantly racist. But it really is an amazing movie because it shows you kind of behind closed doors what actually goes on when a vote is being pushed through. And it's pretty crazy because it's a very complicated, long process. It's just people arguing back and forth the whole time, basically. And Lincoln had a team put together that went out and tried to earn as many votes as they could, and tried to get as many politicians under their cause as they could. So it really shows the whole process very vividly. It also shows you inside Lincoln's private life a little bit with his wife, played by the absolutely wonderful, oh boy, I'm just looking up her name here. I don't know why I can't remember it. Sally Field, of course. She's fantastic playing Lincoln's wife in this. She was very intelligent too. You know, they had a very volatile relationship. They argued a lot. She was always suffering from migraine headaches, and their son died at a very young age, like tragically. So it's something she's never really been able to get over. And you really see, you know, how much they love each other, but also how volatile the relationship is. They're always arguing. And she's really, acid-tongued too. She really stands up to her own husband, and she stands up for her husband as well. When other people are trying to tear him down, she stands up to them, and she's such a tiny woman, Sally Field, if you've ever seen her in other movies. And yet her performance makes her seem like she's 10 feet tall. She was fantastic in this as well. This doesn't show much of the Civil War, just at the beginning of the movie. And it starts with Lincoln just kind of talking to the soldiers. He's just sitting there, and they're having a conversation with him, talking about the speech he gave, that all men are created equal. And right away, you just fall in love with Lincoln from the moment the movie opens. He's making them laugh, he's telling them jokes, and he's so accessible and so down to earth that people just opened up to him. And I don't know if a lot of people know about Lincoln, but he had no formal, education. He was self-taught, brought up poor, extremely well read. I mean, he's always quoting different books in the movie. Like, he knew his history, his philosophy, his ethics. He knew so much. He was just profoundly intelligent. Yeah, so if you're not a very politically versed person, if you don't know a lot about politics in America, a lot of this might be confusing to you. It was to me at first, like I said, but as I watched it more and more, like I watched it again, it started to make more and more sense to me. It's kind of one of those movies that you have to watch a few times to really let the dialogue sink in. The movie is very dialogue driven. It's not, like I said before, it's very kind of grounded as a movie. It's not a big epic Hollywood movie at all. Most of it is just dialogue, back and forth. And there is a scene of action at the beginning that shows the Civil War, but other than that, it's pretty much all dialogue. But the dialogue is all incredibly brilliant. Every supporting cast member in this is fantastic. I was just really blown away by this, and Daniel Day-Lewis definitely deserved an Oscar for this. He's playing one of the most iconic figures in human history, not only American history, but, Lincoln had a profound impact on the whole world by choosing to end slavery in America. And he was a very moral man and a very good man, and he had very high standards, ethical standards, And he was such a comforting presence. He was so kind and gentle, and yet he could be very tough when he needed to be at the same time. The movie really shows that. There's a couple of times where he loses it a little bit. He gets mad, mostly because the political system is so slow, and it's, he just wants to get this amendment pushed through to end slavery as soon as he can, and he keeps coming up against all these hurdles. And at the end of the movie, okay, I'm just going to say spoiler alert for those of you who might not have seen it yet, but it does end with his death. It's not bloody, like it doesn't show him getting shot. He was shot in the back of the head by a conspirator, and, it was carefully planned out. I don't know all the details of, why they shot him. I think a lot of it had to do with they didn't agree with him ending slavery, and, they just wanted to do away with him, basically. But he was shot in a theater while watching a play, right? And his wife was right next to him. But it shows their reaction to his death. It doesn't show the death itself. So it has a rather sad ending, But it ends with great hope, too, because in the end it shows Lincoln kind of giving one of his greatest speeches where he says, that we must fight for peace not only for each other, but for all nations. And he really cared about making an impact on the world and making the world a better place as the president. He just didn't want to help America, but he wanted to make a lasting impact in the history of the world, and he certainly did. So, those of you who know nothing about Lincoln, I highly recommend this. If you want to learn more about him, it just deals with the last few months of his life, right? Or the last month of his life, I guess. But it was the most important thing that he ever did, ending slavery in America, which persisted for, a long time. I don't know how many hundreds of years or whatever, but America was pretty much founded on slavery. So what he did was monumentally important. So, and I fell in love with Lincoln from seeing this, and I'll never think of him the same way again now that I've seen this. It's a masterpiece that I think will stand the test of time, and is one of Steven Spielberg's greatest films. So go out and see it. Or I meant to say, like, go buy it. You can't go see it now because it's on DVD, but look for this and rent it. It's a fantastic movie that needed to be told, and was told beautifully and amazingly well. So that's my review on Lincoln. Have a good night, everyone. Enjoy whatever you're doing. I'll be probably getting drunk tonight. But and the weather's kind of cold and crappy, but other than that, I'm enjoying my nights. So just staying inside, keeping warm, having some red wine. So have a good weekend, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.